gentlemen, welcome back to the second hour of 8-Bits version 2.8. That's the wrong screen. There we go. We're up and we're good to go. We didn't quite get through all of the games that we were talking about on our list. So final call, last call, with I guess some speed and quickness here. Who wants to go?
Well, it'll be quick because the game took me an hour and 10 minutes to beat. Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't even remember the fucking name of the. What is the name of the game?
Metal Gear Solid 5, 90-minute experience.
Other heroes. What is it?
Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zeroes. Other heroes. Who fucking cares? Like, how do they charge $30? How do they get away with charging $30 for this, man? I'm not the biggest Metal Gear fanboy. I enjoy the games. I've played almost every single one from or 100%ed almost every single one. And I can't understand how they can charge $30 for this. And I knew going in that it was going to be a short experience, but I had no idea that it was going to be an hour and 15 minutes and I'm done. And that's it. And probably 25 minutes of that was cutscene, unless that's not factored into the total playtime. But like, what? I just don't know. I had no interest in going back and playing through the same level to kill two special soldiers that they told me that were snipers or something like that. I couldn't fathom why I paid $30 for that. I mean, I'm glad I did so I could show people what the game was because it was only an hour and 15 minutes, but what were they doing? I don't know what the thought was. The thought process like, guys, we need to make money.
No, I don't know. I'm still so confused over this because I've heard this forever, right? I mean, we've known about this experience, and people are like, no, you don't understand. You'll play through it multiple times, but gosh, for me, like that's hard to think playing through another game at all if it's not multiplayer. Like I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know if they were just like, we really need to make some money this quarter. Please, can you put out whatever you've got? We'll charge way too much for it. People will buy it because they love the franchise. Just put it out there. I don't know what the process was, but I would be very interested to see if they ever come out and talk about that. But we'll probably never know why. It's just but to speak to the game, looks fantastic. It's on the level of Infamous in terms of graphics, maybe even better in terms of how it runs. I was playing the PS4 version of it. Fantastic looking game. If anything, it got me hyped for Metal Gear Solid 5, the full game. Maybe that's what it was put out there to do. But it was just a waste. To me, it was a waste of $30. Like, I could have watched the stream and gotten the same thing that I got from playing it for the hour and 10 minutes. So I don't know.
Yeah, let me ask a stupid question. Like, actually, how are they billing it? Because I don't really know. Like, is it considered an expansion or a?
I think that they're approaching it like they did with not GTA, with Gran Turismo Prelude back on the PS3, if you remember that, where it was a very short glimpse of the game, and then eventually the game came out like last year, I think, when GTA or when GT5 shipped. I think that's kind of what they're trying to show. It is a lot of there is a lot of heavy story setting up Metal Gear Solid 5 in that.
Yeah,
but,
so when just so that people know, like technically, this is the opening for the Phantom Pain, which is the real game that they've been talking about for a while. And someone kind of said in chat, like it's almost like they're kickstarting, but not kickstarting.
Kinda,
you know what I mean? Like, I guess so. Like, my question would be: is by the time the full game comes out, will you have paid full price? But if I didn't play this, I will just be able to purchase the game and get it. That's what I don't know. I couldn't find anything really about that.
I don't know. I wasn't disappointed because I knew that it was just going to be shitty because I had heard and read all the reports just like everyone else. But I was expecting 2 hours, and I got an hour and 10 minutes, and I wasn't even skilled at what I did. Like, I think someone, maybe it was Eurogamer, I think they did the mission in 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Like, they speed ran the mission on, like, their second attempt because then you know exactly where you have to go and who you have to get. And it was 10 minutes long. It's like Jesus. Jesus Christ. And the other levels that you can play, the other missions that you can play, they all take place on the base, and some are during the day, so it looks different. It's not raining and at nighttime like the main story mission, but that's all the variants you get. That is all that's there. Each time you complete it, if you get a higher rank, you get access to different guns and stuff. So there's that. But it's like I don't know.
But
That
it's
should
just
have
the
been a
same
15.
level.
Yeah, the entire time. It should have been a 15 or 10. And I think that would probably be a little bit more
I think I'm
accurately
waiting.
priced.
I'm just gonna wait. I mean,
Oh yeah, don't pick it up.
Yeah.
Go watch a YouTube playthrough or something of it
well,
if you really
I
want
don't
to.
even want to see it if it's going to be a part of the game. That's why I wish I was more informed
Oh,
as a
I don't
gamer.
think that this is going to be in the main game when
No?
it comes out. Yeah, I think this is 100% setup. Like, just go watch the cutscenes. The cutscenes are kind of cool if you're a Metal Gear
Alright.
Solid fan, and it's very Metal Gear Solid-y, where they have a guy without skin, and that's like the bad guy. I forgot what his name is. That's how unaffected by this game I was, but it's a Metal Gear game. It seems like they're actually, like, one of the control schemes actually is shooter mode, and it plays exactly like a Call of Duty. Like, squares reload, like R2 is shoot,
Nice.
L2 is zoom in. Like, it's not very Metal Gear, but you can actually set up the wacky control schemes that Metal Gear Solid games are used to. I think that's just the default one. I think that's how I played it. But it feels very, at least that portion did. The stealth was not too much a factor. Like, I was playing pretty run and gun the entire game, and it didn't really hinder my performance. And I only died like once because a tank showed up out of nowhere and just slaughtered me. But I couldn't do much about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I don't know how they could get away with pricing it at that point, but people bought it. I bought it. We all fell for it. So whatever.
That's how they get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that it was going to be that going in too. Like that. That's what everyone was saying. It's a 2-hour game.
And you bought it anyway.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
You enabled them, JP.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to play, and I hope that I persuaded people to not play it from my stream of it. But yeah, what a weird game. What a weird game.
So before we go on to news, Jeff, will you tell us about this Lictum? I'd never heard of it, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty sweet.
It is super cool. It's on Steam Early Access right now. Lictum Battle Mage, it's called. And it's Battle Mage is really is a good descriptor for it. It's a lot like Hexen or Heretic back in the days. It's basically a shooter where all you have is magic.
Wow.
And it's really good. Like it's surprisingly polished already for a game that's on early access. You should check it out. These guys are they've never made a game before that I know of, and it's really good. Just check it out. If you remember Hexen or Heretic from back in the day, actually playing it, it sort of surprised me to think about that there really haven't been that many games since then that have done that, where you don't have melee weapons or guns. You've just got your hands, and you're just firing different kinds of magic. But what's cool is that you should just go check it out. The magic system is very complex. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot to learn. Oh, there you go. You see it on the screen there. Definitely worth checking out. Now, it's early. There's bugs.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting because as an early access game, it's like an early access game with a story. Like, this to me is more like Wasteland, because I got into Wasteland 2 early access, and I was like, oh my god, it's so awesome. But then I was like, well, the story's not complete, and I don't want to spoil anymore, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it's true, and you could see there on the screen it's a CryEngine game. I mean, it looks great. But you're right. It's early. It's in beta. Some stuff is just kind of blocked out. I don't even think they start you like at the beginning of the game, so it's spoilery.
Sure.
The team has actually posted their own videos here on Twitch, so you could actually find them here and go look at the game without spending money.
It's got some good back of the box. Yeah, it's got some good back of the box quotes from Kotaku and Polygon and IGN, like Kotaku says probably the most polished and fun pre-alpha game I've ever played. That's a pretty good pitch.
No, seriously, if you look at it, you're going to be like, God damn. I mean, this looks better than some shipping games. So, I mean, once you play, you'll see they've got a ways to go. But there's like entire whole sections and battles that you can play and to get a feel for the system. And they have something here.
Nice. I look forward to that. I was a big fan of Hexen. I would say the closest I remember playing BioShock and almost not really wanting to use weapons as much once you have all the plasmids and whatnot, because that just sort of has a similar feeling. But
did anyone play that DLC, the second part that came out this week?
Not yet.
Touch that yet? I need to play. I
will. Yeah.
I'll probably play through that next week. But
all right, should we talk about some of the news?
Well, I do want to congratulate Jeff on finishing Dark Souls 1.
Oh, you did? You beat it.
I didn't finish it.
Oh,
you didn't finish it? What?
You're early. You're congratulating me.
God damn it!
I thought you finished it.
Yeah. Now I feel extra bad. But I'm almost there. I think I have like 2 bosses to go, according to the chat. I'm almost there.
Okay.
My real life interfered with my ability to stream. I think I alienated like 2/3 of my audience who got pissed off at me for not finishing. And then I will stream Dark Souls 2 when it comes to PC. So I haven't played it yet because I'm waiting for the PC version.
I'm in that weird limbo because I haven't finished Dark Souls 2. I'm probably I don't want to know how far I am, but I think it feels like I'm about 1/3, maybe halfway through the game. I've only killed maybe like 10 bosses, and I think there's 40 in the game, which is a shit ton compared to all the other games.
Yeah.
But I'm almost at the point where it's like I could just wait for the PC and play it on there in middle of April.
Yeah, that's not that far away.
Or I could just beat it and play it again on April and play a completely different character. The mage in that game is it's actually viable. I think the mages in other games you actually had to like still use a weapon, you had to find a magic weapon or something like that. But you can totally just go full on spells in this game and be successful. So that's maybe I'll just do that on PC. I don't know.
Maybe I should try spells this time since I never fired off one in all of Dark Souls.
I never did either. I just went pure strength, heavy armor, poise build. And the thing with Dark Souls 2 is you can't actually do that on every boss. You have to change up your strategies and make a more balanced character from what I can tell. So I need to get back to that game, Adam. I've had so much fun with that game. But there's just too many others right now that I've been
playing. I thought I was actually going to double dip on first on console and then on PC. But I'm so backlogged now.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
Oh, yeah. It always happens.
It always happens. But that's good because there's nothing in April. I think there's like maybe one game in April. That's it.
Right.
So,
all right.
Let's move on to news, Wheat.
All right, news. So really the one that everyone wants us to talk about is just the hot news item of Oculus Rift being purchased by Facebook. And, before we kind of jump into it, it was really interesting. I don't know if any of you guys follow the Oculus Rift subreddit, but it was about a month and a half ago where some guy kind of got laughed out of the subreddit for posting that, hey, guys, like Mark Zuckerberg was like, he was at the Oculus office and all this stuff. People are like, whatever. You're like, you're crazy. It's probably just visiting, all this stuff. And this happens. Of course, that came out. And then Notch saying, hey, we were going to develop Minecraft for this thing, but this just doesn't sit well with me, which is like a resounding fuck you. I mean, in just the biggest way. I just couldn't even believe I read that. But, everyone wants to know, like, what are your guys' opinions on this? First and foremost, Oculus Rift. Have you tried it? What do you think about it? And then, probably your thoughts on what is a truly unlikely merge, or I mean, like, unforeseeable. Like, how did no one could have predicted this?
It was a little bit weird when that came down the Twitterverse on whenever that was announced. I think I was actually streaming Infamous. And I looked over and someone was like, I can't believe Facebook just bought Oculus for $2 billion. And I'm just like,
whatever.
I remember stopping in the middle of the game. And I was like, is this a troll? Like,
exactly
what is going on? Like, is this real life?
I think I went to like 3 different sites to make sure it wasn't an onion article.
Yeah. It was weird as shit. It still is weird as shit. Like, what? Like, here, I think that I'm probably one of the few people that doesn't have that strong of an opinion about it. like Facebook is the evil, blah 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 blah, yada yada. Like I understand that, but like if Oculus got a shit ton of money, it's only going to be a better product. I'm just worried. I think like everyone else that there's going to be you have to log in with your Facebook account to use it, et cetera. Like all the stupid memes, are any of those going to come true? That's the one thing that I think is worried by everyone, but I don't think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't make sense on the face of it, right? I mean, my initial gut reaction was, what, we're going to play Facebook games on Oculus, like virtual reality Farmville? But like, of course not. It just means that this company with a shit ton of money is investing in a future technology. Like Facebook doesn't have to have anything to do with it, really, in terms of Facebook, the platform, and Oculus Rift, the VR. It's just something they own. It's like Nabisco owning whatever, So we could look at it on the face of it and just say Zuckerberg has billions of dollars. Why shouldn't he invest in something that looks cool? But then, yes, of course, all of
you always got to be worried.
The potential bad side is super bad, right? I mean, like, I don't want a Facebook branded VR thing that, I don't know.
Well, so that I mean, because obviously people reacted based off of what could happen, not necessarily what is probably going to happen, which is like you said, like Facebook kind of just says, keep doing your things. You've got the right people. We've got financial backing, But then you have the reactions, Notch, other developers who are very quick to be like, this doesn't sit well with me. Do you think this was maybe too fast of a reaction on their part?
Well, you could see that Notch like backpedaled a teeny bit when he published his blog post, and he didn't like apologize for what he said, and he didn't take it back, but it was a much more kind of measured response in which he congratulated both sides, and he said, instead of like the initial reaction, which was like kind of fuck this. I mean, he didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. That was certainly his tone. And this time it was more like, congratulations, this is where we part ways, I think is what he said. So I think he would probably even agree that he overreacted a little, but certainly his sentiment, I think a whole huge chunk of the gaming community agreed in that very moment that it happened. I saw that Cliffy B, you guys probably saw too, Cliffy B called out Notch and said he was pouting. But, Cliffy B, at this point, he seems to always come out these days on the side of whoever is making money. So,
that's true.
Not to diss the guy, but, that seemed to be the expected response from Cliffy B to me.
I think he is actually an investor, or was an investor in the.
Oh, that's right.
Was he
He
not?
actually isn't. You're right. So he did have a literal financial interest at stake here. So sure.
Right. Yeah, it's just I still can't believe it. I was also funny. I was reading Notch's initial tweet, and a little bit further, like there was 1 billion people that responded to it at first, but the CEO of Razer actually said, "Well, why don't you bring Minecraft to ours or something like that, to that effect?" So you can already see like everyone else trying to capitalize on this almost like global hate on Oculus Rift right now, or on Oculus for this acquisition that occurred to them. I think Facebook stock actually dropped as well the next day.
I think it did. Yeah.
I don't know if it's recovered yet. Like there was a definite effect. And I also wonder, like, do you think that they predicted that it would be this much backlash about it?
If they didn't, I would say that they're stupid.
Yeah.
Because then that means they are not aware of their shitty public image.
Right.
Which maybe they're not. Maybe they're all just so deep into the Kool-Aid that they don't understand that. But especially when it comes to the gaming community, and the gaming community are the only ones who are really aware of Oculus until this announcement.
Yeah.
So we were the ones who were all following it.
Right. And I think that's also something that I haven't been reading too much about it, so maybe someone has said it, but I think that's like a good thing to come out of this, is now, like this was on CNN. Like this was being reported on the biggest news outlets in the world. And now those people actually know what Oculus is. And it's got so much just by joining Facebook. They know the name, right?
Because keep in mind that the general perception of virtual reality in most people's heads is that it's just garbage, which is true. It should be. You look at you look like people were talking about virtual reality in the early 90s. Here we are, 2014, and really Oculus is probably the closest thing to a consumer level, virtual reality that you'd have to go somewhere and pay $150 to experience something similar. So I agree. There's definitely this reach out to a mainstream press, but I guarantee there's still people going like, why are they wasting their time with that virtual reality? Like that's, it's just silly. I've seen Lawnmower Man. That thing's so stupid. There's still, there's still like, I know that there's still this just sort of, if I was like, yo, mom, at Oculus, maybe are they the Facebook thing? Like, that's scary, right? No, mom, it's actually like a gaming VR thing that's amazing, but now you associate it with Facebook. It's
right.
I don't know how that's going to go.
Well, representing the cranky older generation here for a moment, I will say, and I tweeted about it a couple days ago, I think I probably, in terms of the Oculus itself, I have tried it. I tried it at GDC. And have you guys tried it?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one that has not.
And it's amazing, right? It is. What I saw blew my mind. So I'll say that out front, that I agree that it's super cool. But I'm having a hard time believing that it's really going to be a thing, at least for a number of years. I don't think, to me, obviously it's cooler than 3D TV. It's much cooler, but to me, this is yet another thing that it's another contraption and another, I don't want to say fad because it isn't a fad yet, but I have a hard time believing that people are going to strap on a huge fucking helmet in their own house all the time. Like, to me, it almost feels like, and forgive me for saying this, but it almost feels like the Wii in a way, in terms of like, we were all blown away at the beginning. We all bought it. It was super fun. And now where's the Wii now? It's all in our closet. Because at the end of the day, we just want to sit on our couch with a controller. Like, this is what decades of gaming have shown us. And all these contraptions that come along all the time always fade away. Now, granted, Oculus is cooler than all of these. It is truly the best implementation of VR I've ever seen. So I do agree with that. And I don't wish it to fail. And again, this could just be like, get off my lawn, old man stuff. But I do think it's going to be tough for them to break out of just a niche of more high-end consumers and techie people who want this thing, as opposed to something that's really going to impact mainstream society.
I agree. And I also want to tack on there another problem that they know they have, which is we don't know how widespread it's going to be, but I play FPSs. I was born from FPSs, like from the ashes of FPS. Like, my ability to look at a 3D space and not get sick is incredibly high. The Oculus made me sick.
Did it really?
Not like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it right now, but like I actually feel just a little bit uncomfortable. Let me like readjust, and then so I've used it several times.
Were you using DevKit 1 or were you using the Crystal Cove?
I've used both, but most of my experiences have been with DevKit 1. I've used
because they were supposed to have fixed that with the Crystal Cove or whatever.
I think that there is going to be some fixing, but there, like, you still have to understand that for a lot of people, that's really, really tough for their, like, if you're not someone who normally play, my mom can't watch us play Call of Duty. She'll get sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it maybe that doesn't matter, right? This is for the kids who are growing up and they're just used to their brain interpreting this 3D space. But I'm like, I feel like I'm a super veteran in this space, and there were definitely times where I'm like, whoa, okay. And I'm sure that some experiences are more intense with others.
Yeah.
The roller coasters are like, they're actually rough. Like, I could do the stuff where you are just walking down corridors and it's scaring you and shit all day. It's scary as hell. But like, I don't know, like seeing heights and stuff, and Yeah,
So
a couple times.
did either of you at GDC play the Sony one, whatever that's called?
No, Morpheus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Morpheus.
did you play Morpheus?
No,
Did
I
I
you?
did
did.
not.
Was it even a? Yeah, I guess
I
it
think
was
you had to
available.
have
I
like
think it was
super
to a certain
special
press.
access or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the who was it that was talking? It might have been Gersman that was talking about it. But the general idea that was talked about was that you were dropped into this shark cave, or sorry, the shark cage, and you were lowered down into the water, and that I think it was using Move controllers or some sort of controller at the same time, and it was actually registering your hand movements in the thing as well. I don't know. It seemed like the way that they talked about it was that it was a much better demo than that they had seen with the Oculus Rift stuff. So I was curious if you guys
Interesting.
tried it.
No, I haven't. I did get to try the latest prototype of Oculus, and
Yeah.
and it really does look a lot better. I mean,
yeah.
clearly, it's getting better every time with every iteration.
Sure.
But I played a demo of a game, and I played. It was probably less than 5 minutes, and I don't get sick like some people like we was talking about, but I have to say, and I dug it the entire time I had it on. Like I was into it and I was exclaiming, how great this was. But then when I took it off, it it was like freaky, to like be back in the real world, and I think that's like part of the problem, though. Put me back in, yeah, jack me out. But I think that's part of the problem that I'm talking about is that like it's an intense experience. I mean, you got this big thing on your head, and
Right.
you're taken away from reality, and to me that feels like something that's super fun to do. It's like going to Disneyland or wherever. Like it's fun to go to Disneyland, but you wouldn't want to be sitting on Space Mountain for like 5 hours in your house, like it feels like a lot to assume that people are going to want to on a regular basis strap this thing on and do this in the same way that like we play regular video games now. So that's my concern, is that like, well, how mainstream is this
Also,
thing?
how long can you wear that fucking thing, man? Like
Yeah.
seriously,
Right.
I've never
Seriously.
seen anyone go through a play session longer than like 10 minutes. So I don't think I could have that thing strapped on for an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I really want
yeah,
to try
for
one.
sure.
I might, because I think the pre-orders went up for the second dev
Yes,
PC or
they
whatever.
did.
I might.
And
I
it was
might
pretty
try it.
cheap too, relatively.
Yeah,
It's like 340?
50 bucks more, I think, than the
Yeah,
first one.
and I thought that was a good sign too. I mean, I think one way they definitely can help themselves is keeping the price point low enough. If they keep it low, under, I'd say even under 300, they might be able to get folks to buy it. But
Right.
if higher than that, it's just going to be like tech heads, I think.
Yeah.
What do you
Probably
got?
at least for the couple.
Well,
first couple.
in
For the
chat,
first couple.
in chat, someone says not looking forward to having to buy every console's separate VR add-on, which is certainly
Yeah.
because
That's
now that
true.
Oculus and then Morpheus comes out, like, oh shit, we got to catch up. It's time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I
Great.
feel a lot of dust collecting peripherals.
that's the other
That's
thing,
what I'm
too.
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the other-
was it like 2 or 3? I'm sorry, JP. Was it
No,
just
no,
like
please go
2
ahead.
or 3 E3s ago where it was all I walked around and every fucking booth was 3D?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of
And
course,
probably
I'm
motion
the only
controls
guy
too.
that still loves his 3D televisions and uses them every day. But I'm talking to people. Oh yeah, I got it in 3D. You see it? Like, what 3D? I watched the 3D. I'm like, oh, I forget that people aren't excited about it as I am.
Yeah, I have a 3D TV and I used it the first day, and I don't even know where the glasses are at this point. Like, I haven't used it for about a year. But oh crap, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot now.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess to kind of jump back onto the Facebook thing, the knee-jerk reaction of the internet was definitely like prevalent during all of this, and I think it's really going to take a couple of months to really see how much Facebook can impact what they're doing over there. And I really wonder how much someone like John Carmack is going to let them actually influence what is happening. Because here's someone that's had a quote that was talking about like the hacking community and the people that were developing for this, and now they're owned by Facebook. Like, how much of that is still going to be there? Like, are we going to see the fact that Oculus Rift can interact with these other consoles through like a hacked way?
Yeah.
Or is that just gone with this new acquisition? Like, do they have to ride the legal line of not doing something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We'll just
I
have
mean,
to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, the other stuff that actually for gaming, I can as all the skepticism that I've expressed here, I actually could see it being fun in some applications for gaming. What I really don't get is when after this Facebook thing, like Zuckerberg and other people talking about how like this is the way you're going to be communicating with your family in the future. Like, no, the fuck it isn't.
Weird. Yeah.
We're still going to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put on a helmet to go talk to my mom.
It would be kind of cool though if you put on a helmet and you get transported to like a 3D room of like your old bedroom because you're talking to your mom or some shit like that.
Actually,
maybe that's just
forget the mom part, but you did make me just think like, oh, I guess porn would make sense.
Oh yeah, I think, and that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like, I think like one of the, it might have just been an upvoted Reddit post, but someone was talking like the application for porn, like, can it still exist now with this being a part of Facebook? Like, I guess people can still develop whatever they want game wise for this thing. But is Facebook going to be out there and be like, we are the #1 distributors of the best porn tools in the world?
We're certainly going to have to change our privacy settings on Facebook because I don't want it showing up in my news stream.
Yeah, it's like Jeff Green.
Jeff Green is now, is now in hot cheerleader babes.
Yeah.
Whoops.
God,
sorry, Mom.
That's funny.
I honestly think the porn industry is like the biggest moneymaker for that thing right now. And that everyone's going to try to jump on that. And I don't know where it's going to ride.
Man.
It does.
It does. Did you guys know that some of the most sought after individuals in like the early construction of like Stick'em and Ustream and were guys that worked for the porn industry because they were creating these amazing players and efficient ways to like deliver. I mean, I just think that that's so funny.
Did you know that the whole idea of being able to like scan a credit card for online came from the porn industry?
Is that right?
That is, yeah. It's the guy that created it for some sort of online porn so that they could have like a digital card scanner. And there's a movie based on that I ended up watching a long time ago. And it's crazy to think about that it all came from the fact that some guy wanted to be able to swipe a credit card to get pictures on the internet. And it was, that's where it came from. And now that drives the world in terms of the global economy.
That's right. I remember a day when, you had to like either go to not that I would have ever done that, but where you would have had to like go to a store and buy a magazine and basically out yourself.
Right.
Or go to a movie theater, which I was too young for that, even as old as I look. That was before my time. But, guys actually did that.
Yeah.
Insane.
You have to sit in a room with other guys doing that.
That's really weird if you think about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of that movie. It was on Netflix. I'll try to find it.
Yeah, I'm sure Google search can find it really quick. So if we, well, I don't know that we'll have a chance to open phones today. I know we kind of like talk, so we'll see here. But what about this? So War Thunder, you guys, they're kind of like the lead competitor of World of Tanks, but they decided to go planes first, and then they're doing tanks and boats, or ground and boats, whatever. So they recently have been promoting that they're going to be on the next gen consoles, and even at one point talking about that they were really shooting to have cross-platform play. So no matter where you were at, you were involved in the War of War Thunder. Microsoft has shut down cross-platform play for War Thunder. It's unclear what's happening on all the other sides, but they've always been, post-Shadowrun, almost anti-cross-platform play. I guess I'm not surprised by this, but it just, every time I think, like, gosh, it really would just solve a lot of issues if some of this stuff could happen. But once again, shut down and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Will we ever see it?
I don't know. To me, I think the question is like, do I want to see that? Like, what do you have that much of a opinion on it, Wheat? Like, do you think it would be cool?
I have a two-sided opinion because, of course, being sort of in esports and like to me, one of the hardest problems in the world of like console competitive gaming is the fact that there's automatically a segregation amongst any community when a Call of Duty comes out. There isn't like a StarCraft 2 where it's like, we're all on PC. This is great. We all, there's no like, no, the 360 version's better. The PS3 version's better. So every time like a Call of Duty or a Titanfall or something like that comes out, where not necessarily Titanfall, but where it's on multiple, a Battlefield, and then suddenly that's almost impossible because the community's segregated into 3. I always felt like we would at least be one step closer if there was some sort of collection of these communities that came together, when suddenly a guy might be able to say like, yes, I am the best player on PS3, but also because we're cross server, I'm like the best player in the world. Just happens that I play on the PS3. Don't know if it's technical. Don't know. I'm sure there's technical. Don't know if it's pride. But, I don't think that some of these companies realize that by cock blocking this, if effectively that is what they did, they're actually like hurting that possibility for growth on that scale. And these guys, the thing that's ironic is that they're all looking at it. Like the guys at Titanfall are obviously like, let's look at esports and let's figure out how to make our game like last longer in life because of this competitive game. And Call of Duty's doing the same thing, but they won't address the biggest problem they have, which is they have segregated communities and they can't do what they want to do with that.
That's a great point. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm sure there are issues, but it's probably nothing that they can't overcome. I mean, technological issues. There's probably also like legal issues, I would imagine. But
sure.
I don't see anything that would, from what I know, which is I guess kind of nothing, that there would be, that this would be insurmountable. And I know that, like, personally, like, for me, and I know every single gamer goes through this, like, it becomes an issue of, like, what the hell do I buy this on based on, like, what my friends are doing? Right. Like, you guys talking about playing Titanfall on PC actually made me jealous because at root, I'm a PC gamer. Like, that's how I grew up. But my friends were all playing it on Xbox One. So I was like, well, okay, I'm going to get that one. And I'm having fun on it. But I'd be having more fun if I could switch between the two, or if I could play on my PC and play those guys on Xbox One. The other difficult thing about that, though, would be, would there be a disadvantage in terms of control and latency and things like that? Like, that would be another issue, right? Like, are the PC guys going to cream the console guys because of mouse responsiveness or mouse accuracy?
They will. It's been proven. That's why, Microsoft shut it down with Shadowrun. It got shut down on the PS3 when Unreal Tournament added PC or keyboard and mouse support. I had the best 2 weeks of my FPS life just going in and crushing guys that were playing on gamepads, obviously. Yeah. So there's an intense disadvantage there, and that was probably like the biggest separation. But even getting the consoles to be able to play nicely together would be a massive improvement in that area.
It would. You're right. Yeah. So. And you're right. I mean, talking about, especially in terms of esports, I think that was a great point. That how much more accessible would it be if Sony and Microsoft were playing nice with each other and have this massive global audience, like you're saying. I'm just reiterating your point, but it's a great one.
I just don't think we're ever going to see that because what drives a console sale? Playing a game on that platform, right? So we can keep dreaming, but I don't think we'll ever see that. The only way that we could see it is what was, I think Wheat was hoping for, was between Microsoft and a PC or a Windows platform. That's the only way.
But they couldn't even get that shit together.
Yeah. Well, it's shitty. I think that's the best way to.
Sorry, I'm just having bad visions of games for Windows.
No, oh god.
No, please. It was a joke. That was a fucking disaster. That program should have been shut down so long ago.
So, it was funny because I was in a meeting, and there was a joke that someone was like, we're hiring a new person for this position, whatever, and they were joking that we might be in a lot of trouble if we don't stop losing people to Riot, and because like Riot's picked up quite a few people lately, this one person, And then today, or maybe not today, but was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, broken at the last moment. But effectively, that the Naughty Dog game director has left Uncharted 4 for Riot Games, which are in the same vicinity. But really interesting is the quote that came from Richmond. I love the company and the people know that they will continue to create awesome games going forward. On a happier note, after careful consideration and exploration, I've joined Riot Games. There's some really innovative stuff going on here that I can't wait to be a part of. You know, like, that's really interesting to me because, like, obviously we're talking about a guy that comes from a completely different space.
Yeah.
You know what Riot is sort of like working on right now with their big push on their own, you know, in-house competitive league, and then also just constant updates to the game. I wonder if there's an indication that they're actually looking at whatever that next title might be, or if this is just.
I bet you they're already on that, and they have to be on that. The Riot team is massive. Like, they have so many fucking people now in the past year or two that they have to be moving on to something else. I mean, I would be surprised if we didn't hear something about that at E3 this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? You know what's crazy? Okay. I don't know for sure, but like, in the way that the esports community works and stuff, like, a lot of news is not sacred.
Right.
And I really, really, really feel like if there was stuff already in development, like,
we would know.
We would probably know in some way, shape, or form. I think that this is more like it's happening, it's starting, it's at the first stages. But I personally would be shocked if, you know, and I mean, who knows?
It is pretty early.
Development can start years before and be all paper and ideas. So, you know, like, I got to believe that stuff like that's happening. But
I mean, part of the reason for a jump like he made is just that, you know, like right now Riot is super hot, right? I mean, it could be more simple than there's actually some amazing thing he wants to work on. I mean, he could have wanted to make the jump simply because they have a shit ton of money and they offered him a job. You know, I mean, like, they're kind of a cool place to go to right now. And if you're paying attention, you know, of course, like, esports is a growing thing. So it could just be that he wants a piece of that at this point. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
It is a little weird, though, for the Uncharted 4 game director to jump ship.
That's true.
Right.
Like, because they're basically like Uncharted 4. They're probably in the latter half of development of that game. I would reckon we'll probably see that at E3 this year. But
that's true.
Jump
Following
ship,
Amy Hennig, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's the second big profile name to come out of that company. Like, I don't know. They got to be doing something. Like, he's not going to come on board and be like, all right, guys, this is how we're going to do League of Legends. Like, that's for something else. Yeah. It's got to be something else.
If they're going to work on just like
the other thing too is
go ahead.
What is the thing that they make?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Like, they make MOBA games. They don't make.
Dude, you know what? Here's my thoughts. If I was in their shoes, and I could recognize, you know, all the things that help make that game popular. Like, people really fucking love the League characters. Right?
So
like,
they could do an RPG with Teemo?
No, I mean, I think they could do almost anything with the lore where they could take, like, one character and be like, this is a shooter. You know, with our lore and with sort of and tide things over until whatever the next thing. I mean, I think it's inevitable that one day we see League of Legends 2 or whatever that is, the new iteration. But it seems to me like by focusing on the lore and the characters that people seem to really love and attach to, that would almost be a win no matter what.
And a lot of people don't realize
that's true.
But they have a fuck ton of backstory for all of those heroes. Like, I think for a while there, they were running a site, like a blog that was every week was updating the story.
Yeah, it was presented like in a newspaper format.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really,
And there is actually, I remember seeing a like an image, an infograph of like the grouping of every hero in League and like what section or group they're with, or who is their brother and who is their sister, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or who they're married to, et cetera, et cetera. So they could probably do like an RPG or even a shooter, like you're saying, where it's based off one character and they have all these other characters in there. I don't know. They could do a ton of stuff.
You're right, and they would have a built-in audience already for all the people who are digging that lore.
And
right?
it's also an entry point. If they enjoy that game, why don't you go play League of Legends where you can continue to play with that hero?
Right.
Right.
I'll tell you
go
what,
anywhere.
There is not another company that I am more eager to see what their next project is than Riot.
Yeah.
Because it's just, like you look at all of the successes like in the games industry, and a lot of times it's built off of that fourth and fifth success. But it's like the one success, and where do they go from here? Like, it's pretty exciting just to think, like, because you never know what could happen. I mean, they struck lightning big time, and
they have
it's
the
hard
opportunity to
happen.
grab anyone.
Yeah.
The industry. I mean, they just grabbed the fucking game director of Uncharted 4. So
yeah.
They can get literally anyone in the industry that they want.
They probably could. You're right. And if they are working on new projects like you're speculating, that would be even more reason to go, right?
Yeah.
If they approach these top designers and storytellers and people like that and say, "Hey, man, we want to make a shooter in this universe," geez, how tempting would that be?
Yeah.
And especially, like, what if they go the route of doing something on a console? They could totally jump to an Xbox One, or they could just stay on the PC and continue to self-publish. So
would they make an MMO?
I don't think. I was thinking that too, and I immediately dismissed it because it's like, why would they do that when they already have a cash cow in League?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like that, an MMO is a 5-year development, like at the least, and it's such a money suck right now that no one wants to do it anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you would think that they would want to diversify into some other area.
Yeah. So I don't know. That is kind of nuts to hear that they got the game director for Uncharted 4.
Yeah, that is crazy news. I actually didn't know that until you brought it up.
Yeah, I didn't either. That was kind of. This whole week has just been dominated by Oculus and Facebook stuff that I hadn't seen that. There was some other stuff too. I threw into the doc.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now.
I know we're kind of winding down.
Yeah, sure.
Did you guys happen to see there was another thing that was kind of in a back room that not many people talked about at GDC, and it was a Sony eye track thing?
No.
I heard a couple people and I read a couple things about it, and they all said that like they are more excited for this than any Oculus or any virtual reality thing out there.
Yeah.
And what it is you can see the image right now on the stream. That camera down there, you go in and it takes a couple readings of your eyes. It says look up, look down, look left. It does the whole Halo bullshit. And then you don't, like, the entire game is played with you looking.
Huh.
And then your character goes that way. And everyone that said that they played it felt so natural and it felt so, like, already perfect. And we'll probably, like, one of the things, too, that they said is we may never even see this tech utilized ever. Mm-hmm. It may just always be an R&D facet, but the only thing that they were doing was using the left stick to, I think, was to actually move forward and move left, or left and right and backwards.
Okay.
But the complete camera control was 100% done with your eye, and it was almost like 1-to-1 on how fast it would react to where you're looking, where someone would focus in on a bush and it would immediately center it on that. Or if you wanted to shoot that guy, it would immediately center it on that. To me, that just has a lot of implementation that could be really, really, really cool.
Yeah, this technology has always been something that's interested me, and it's been around for quite a while. I think that it's been more or less like harnessing it for the right usage, because where we've seen it is they've used it actually in esports events to track the information that a player is looking at throughout the game, and it's really cool to see. It's right, it is more or less a gimmick, but you'd see like the heat maps of where the players would look at the most on the screen. But that's more like just the whole concept of eye tracking in general, to actually be able to then put the functionality and the mechanics into a game to play it. Like, it's kind of cool because it's not obtrusive. This I like because it could sit there and you calibrate it, okay. But I think the idea of non-obtrusive technology is really good stuff.
Yeah, kind of crazy to see what comes out of that, because we'd imagine if you're playing Quake and it removes the mouse.
I don't know about that, man.
That'd
think
be
about
weird,
that for a second.
Well, what it does is
imagine it's faster than that.
But what's interesting about that, well, first off, it couldn't, because you need the mouse to be able to gain speed and momentum in that game. Unless you could you're like figuring out how to strafe jump with your eyes. Your eyes are like going all crazy.
Blink really fast.
But
that'd be true.
Stare.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so interesting because what that does is it actually like if you take out that element of skill from the game, that it's almost like taking away a sense, right? You take away your ability to hear, and suddenly your smell sight is amazing, right? If you no longer you're aiming with your eyes, almost like a 1-to-1. Then suddenly like the strategy, the ability to time, and the decisions you make in the game become that much more important because a lot of people struggle with the aiming first and then everything else.
And that's
also really
true.
Yeah.
Because what if your mom comes in the room and then you turn to the left and your character just
like,
spins
damn it,
the opposite direction? Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I wondered about. Yeah, what if you look off stream, your dog barks, what happens to you then? And I think also, I mean, seriously, but also like we're used to in games, we're used to like seeing with our hands, right? And the seeing is tied to the action. Mm-hmm. So separating those two things might be a weird disconnect. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I agree with you guys. It sounds really neat. But it seems like it'd be weird to overcome a few things, or hard.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Definitely some challenges there. I could imagine.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what comes out of that. The other stuff had some more Oculus VR news. Actually hit Twitter and everything else about an hour ago. The head VR guy at Valve, Michael Abash, I think is how you say his last name, Abrash, left and is now at Oculus VR.
Oh wow!
It's kind of nuts because he is, from what I can tell, is a gigantic figure in kind of the world of development. I think he helped Carmack back in the days of the early Quake 1. So they've obviously got like a dream team assembling there, at least in Carmack's eyes. So we'll see what comes out of that. It's pretty nuts.
Huh. Yeah, Carmack's presence alone lends so much legitimacy to the Oculus.
It does.
Like that's one of the things that keeps me, despite my cynicism, still interested.
Yep.
Because that guy is like a Martian. He's so smart.
He knows something we don't, right?
Yeah.
He's building rockets in virtual reality. Like he's preparing us so when the inevitable end of the world happens, so he can shoot into space, but then still live like we're on Earth because we'll be able to have
That's
our
exactly
Oculus
right. That's right. I actually think he lives in some other dimension, and he's just projecting himself onto Earth for us because he's so much smarter than the rest of us.
Comes out.
He is.
Yeah,
he's one of the few people where I wish I could just see what it's like to be in his mind, but not get lost in it.
Oh my God! Yeah, you'd probably go insane in a minute.
Because hearing him talk, you can see that he definitely has like an elevated level of consciousness where he he can spit out some of the weirdest and most like jargony sentences, but they're fucking brilliant, every single one of them.
Yeah, totally. I think that when we talk and he hears us, it's like when we hear dogs barking.
Yeah, it's like a peanut.
He like feels bad for us because we can't really communicate.
See, I've always imagined that Carmack is. You guys, of course, are familiar with the movie Total Recall.
Yeah.
And Quaid goes and sees Kuato, the guy that lives in the guy. There's like like I just imagine that there's a Kuato inside of John Carmack, and he's just really the one controlling everything.
He is a next level.
Yeah, human being for
species.
Sure.
Yep.
He's awesome. He's totally.
I'd feel worried talking to him. They're talking to him about like how to cook a hamburger because he's probably got like a fucking brilliant way of doing it that I've never even thought of.
Right. He might not even be able to relate to the concept of food. He's evolved beyond needing to eat.
I just eat this pill every day that I created myself and get all my nutrients. Oh yeah, it's gonna hit the market in about a year.
Oh, you still eating food?
Yeah.
How cute.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we've hit our top of the hour, and I know we didn't get a chance to open up the phone lines today, but don't worry. Many more episodes of 8 Bits to come, and we'll be getting those phone calls in for you guys. So have no fear. But let's wrap up and let's go ahead and let our newbie do our opening close or our finishing remarks and closes.
Finishing.
Like your shout outs, your whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a deer in the
Close
headlight.
the show, Jeff. I'm out.
Like shit. Did he tell me I was supposed to do something? Hi. 8 Bits is over. Okay. So you can find me on at Greenspeak. That's green like the color, speak like I'm speaking to you. Greenspeak. That's my Twitter thing, and I'm on Twitch here also at Greenspeak. So that's me. And again, thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Thank you for
glad you're
coming.
here.
Can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
JP?
I'm right now actually debating if I should go to Miami to go to Ultra this weekend.
Dude, you know what? You were talking about it this morning, and I was about to say, like, man, next year, let's just go. I've been to several Ultras, and they're just freaking outstanding and amazing. And, I mean, I actually I know a few people in that industry, so, like, we could have a really good time. But,
I know how expensive. I was looking at ticket prices.
Oh, God, I bet they're crazy now.
It's absurd right now.
Yeah, okay, that makes me feel better.
But I could probably just watch it all online too, so maybe I won't go. I don't know. I've always wanted to be that guy that, like, finish a show. Let's go to Miami for the weekend, right? Let's just see how let's see how it's going and go to that event. But I haven't.
A high roller.
We should have had this talk last weekend, JP, man. We'd be gone right now. I guarantee you.
No, see, we got to have it the day the event starts, Sweet. It's not cool when you plan a week ahead. You got to do it the day the event starts.
Let's just go. Okay.
Yeah, let's just try it out. If I'm probably not going to go. I'm probably just going to watch online. I'll probably be streaming Diablo all day. I like the fact that I have that clan, so I'll probably just be pulling people in there every single run, 3 new guys, and playing, streaming that. I do need to go get some food though, so it's going to be a couple hours, probably an hour or two before I get started with that. We got R&D tomorrow, playing Pendragon. Get to see if Quinn and Imris continue to live on. I've already lost one character, spoilers, but and I guess Sir Ronald as well. He's going to be continuing on with this. And then I think we're right now either going to do Sunday or Monday for the next episode of Solemn. We haven't decided yet, so we'll let you guys know. I think that's it. I'll probably just be streaming Diablo in the interim of all of that, so you can just head over to my Twitch.
Awesome. Well, we should have a show next week. That will be, what will that be? April 4th. So mark your calendars for that. Now, I didn't do a survey before, but Jeff, are you going to be at PAX by chance?
I am at PAX. PAX all weekend. You going to be there?
Of course.
JP?
I might decide that Friday. That might be the Friday where it's like, I should probably go to PAX. Then I just fly out. It might happen. We might do it.
So beers could happen. 8-bits beer hangout.
I like it.
It's true. We'll do an 8-bits roleplay beer-a-thon somewhere.
It would be awesome.
I think everyone from roleplay except Ryan's going to be there. Like, Jeff's going, Neil's going, Steve is on the fence with me right now if we're going. I don't know if Caitlin's going to go. Who else? Jen's going to be there. So pretty much everyone from the roleplay community will be there, I think. Awesome. I just don't know if I'm going to go yet.
It's going to happen.
We'll see.
Do it.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching. You can follow us on Twitter. It's directly below our names. I'll be streaming later on today, but as JP mentioned, R&D tomorrow, and then just normal streaming throughout the weekend. Try to finish up Infamous. So thank you guys for tuning in to version 2.8 of 8-Bits. Thanks to our new host, Jeff Green. It's a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to the next show.
Thank you so much.
We will see you guys next time on another episode. We're out of here. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.